If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today we are on the final stretch of our Laravel e-commerce series, and I want to finish up this product page. We still have some functionality that we can add to here. For instance, I want these to be drop-downs. I want to add some better functionality to this little section of alternate images that we have. And I also want to make these suggested based on the search, and right now they're just the same image. Let's go ahead and get started. So to get us started, I want to go to the shop controller first. And then right in our show function that we have here, I'm going to create a variable called categories. And all this is going to be is the product categories. And then we're going to loop over it. And we'll say categories as category. And then down here, we'll have another variable, and I'll call it similar products. And we're just going to say that that equals category products shuffle. And then we're just going to take 4 because that's all we need for that section. And then under here, we can go ahead and send it to the front end. So now we can go ahead to the shop show page and accept that property right in this section right here. And then we can remove these 3 down here because we're going to loop over this one. So this is going to be right in the opening tag. We're going to say v4 item index in similar products. The key will be index. And then for our href, we can now do the route. And then we need to pass in the item slug, but I do need that colon here, which is why I keep getting confused. So we have the shop show, item slug, similar products. Here we need item. Let's see what we have going on. Okay, very cool. We have different items being displayed here. And of course, if we click it, we can go to that item. Fantastic. The next thing that I want to work on are these products. I want to have these as drop-downs. And to do that, I'm going to take each of these sections and create properties for them so that we can address them individually. So if we come down to the data properties, we can actually put them up top here. And the first one will be open description. And I'm going to set it to false. The next will be open features. Open return, and then open reviews. So now let's head up to where we're displaying that. Here they are right here. So we have product description, features, policy, and reviews. So on the first one, I'm just going to go ahead and add a click event. And we're going to do open description equals not open description. And I also want an icon. And the name will be angle down. I'm pretty sure I have them. If not, we'll add them in a bit. And the class will be width 5, height 5, text yellow, and fill current. And then here we're going to put vf open description. And I want another icon. And this one will be velse. And the angle will be left. Outside of the button, I want another div with some classes on it. And then at the end of this, I want to put VF open description. Then here we can just do, well, actually, I want some p tags. Product description. Okay, let's take a look and see how that looks. Okay, as you can see, we have a little arrow here. And then if we click it, it shows up and we don't have the angle down. So I'll go grab that real quick. So right in our icons file, I'm going to go ahead and paste it under these angles here. And that should be good. Let's try it now. Very cool. So let's go ahead and deal with the rest of them. So the next one's going to be pretty much the same. I'm just going to grab this one and we'll paste it here and I'll change it accordingly. So open description will now be open features, product features, and I'm just leaving it as product description as well. We'll go ahead and do the same for the return policy. And the open description is going to be open return. Instead of product description here, I'm going to have return policy. And instead of the product description, I'm going to have don't worry about returns. We'll send you a new one. We are very generous with our store. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the reviews. And then the same for the description. Here we'll put reviews. And then instead of product description, we'll put it's fantastic. Okay, now some of you asked me about doing a review system where we have stars and, just a general review system. And it is something that I was considering, but I would like to finish this particular project at some point in my life. So I'm not going to do it for this project, but I do have plans to do it somewhere near in the future. I have 1 or 2 projects that I want to get up and ready to go, but I will be doing something with that. So please don't message me asking me to do it here. I'm not going to do it here. Let's go ahead and check our page and see what it looks like now. Okay, so our product description is good, features is good, return policy is good, reviews, fantastic. And we can also click it back up to close them. And you can add more functionality to something where when you open one, the other closes. This is just a very basic system that we have here, so that's fine for our purposes. In looking at what I wanted to do for this section right here, I researched some carousels and just different ways of doing it. And I found one called Vue3 Carousel, and it seems to be pretty functional. Let's take a look. If we go to the getting started, there are some examples. I mean, it's okay. So you can click one and you can see it'll go to the next one, and we can just kind of use it and customize it for our purposes to make it look kind of how we want it to. And I think the one that I chose was this hidden active one, hidden arrows. So if you go to the beginning, there's no arrow, but as you go down, there are arrows all the way till you get up to the end, and then there's no arrow here anymore. So let's go ahead and install it. I'm just going to run npm install Vue3. Going to open up a terminal, paste that in, let that run. Fantastic. And let me drop this down and I can close this. Let's head down and go back to the documentation. They have different ways of using it here, but basically you got to import whichever ones you're going to be using. We're not going to use all of them, but we are going to need this. And there's also CSS that we'll need as well. So I'm going to grab this first. And then I'm going to go to the app CSS resources page so we can bring that in here. And just add an at the beginning of that, and that should be good. Can close this. And the next thing we can do is import these. Just going to drop them right under our links here. And we're not going to need pagination. So we can get rid of that, and then we can add these down below. Okay. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at our database and open up products, you'll see that we only have one image. Within a week or so, I'm going to start working on an admin panel for this project. So I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and get us started with having alternate images for these products. Right now we have image. We want two different kinds of images, one for the main image and one for the alternate images. So to do that, we're going to first go to create products table. And where we have this image, I want to put main image. Then I want to copy that one, and I'm going to put text. You can also put JSON here as well, but text is fine for our purposes. And this one is just going to be alt images, and I also want to make it nullable. So when we do get ready to add products, maybe the product doesn't have multiple images yet, it just only has the one main image. So I'm going to make this nullable. Let's go ahead to the product model and add that category. So this will now be main image, alt images. And then because it's going to be an array, we do need to add, where are our casts? Okay, we don't have any yet. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here, and then this will be our alt images, and we'll just casting it to an array. So we have it in our product model. We have it in our products table. So now we need to also add it to our seeder so we can go ahead and have some real quick. This image I'm going to go ahead and change to main image. And then instead of adding it to this main product create, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the variable and I'm going to update it. We're only going to be working with the one for now. That's the only one that I'm going to fix. And then we're going to have alt images. It's going to equal an array. And then we can go ahead and grab this one for now. We're going to adjust it in a bit. So instead of products, I'm going to keep products, but I'm going to add images. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to change these dates on here. Where are we? We're in July. So we'll say July 2022. For the main image, I'm also going to put main image, and then we'll have the image. That's a folder that's going to be in July 22. And then for our alternates, we're going to have another folder, and it's going to be called alt images. Now for this one, since we're not looping over anything here, I'm just going to put one and then get rid of these and leave it like so. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create, I don't know how many these are, but we'll do home goods, women's 2, home goods 2, women's 3, home goods 3, women's 4, and then home goods 4. And let's also go ahead and fix these folders as well. Okay, and we'll fix the folders in our storage in a bit, but let me check the database seeder, and that looks like it's all good. Let's try to seed it and make sure it goes ahead and seeds it. Column not found image. Did I miss it somewhere? Let's see. Ah, yeah. Okay. So I did it for this one. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, great. It seeded just fine, but everything is now going to break. All of our images are broken, but if we go ahead and refresh the products, we now have main image, and I do want to change those as well. Main image, images, products, images, products, right here. Hopefully that should be the last reseed. Let's try it again. Okay, images, products, fantastic. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is create a new folder in our storage. So we have images, products, new folder, and we'll call it July 2022. And then we'll make another one called main image. And then in that July 22, we'll make a new folder called alt images. So I'm going to go ahead and move these images around. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and moved all of the alt images for this women's / home goods product that we had, the home goods 1 through 4 and women's 1 through 4. I put those in here. And then all of the other images we have, I went ahead and just added them to the main image, since those are all the main images. So let's go through and see what we have broken and try to fix it really quick before we move on. So let's start with the shop page. Column image. And that's in our, actually, I forget where that is. Is it in the welcome? Yep. Okay, so now this one is now feature main image, and then we can get rid of this images from here. And that should be good. Let's check that out. Ah, okay. So we need to go to the controller to fix that. And that controller is welcome controller, and it'll be main image here. Main image. And that looks like everything. Let's check it out. Okay, and it looks like I forgot something in the seeder, so let's check that again. Images, products, July 22nd, main image. Kids. One more time, let's hope this works. Okay, so we have our items back finally. Head over to shop and let's see what's going on with the shop index. I should be able to close that. Welcome controller. Let's see what we have in here in the index function. Main image. And now let's check the page, shop index. And we can get rid of images from here. And that looks good. Let's try it. Okay, we have all of our items. Let's go to women's, kids. Okay, and now let's try to go to that product item, which is where we started this whole mess. So let's go see what's going on. Okay, I think I can close this now. Index, shop controller, or actually, we have the show and we don't have any images here, so. Okay, so first in the form, we're gonna have main image. And then I'm also gonna put so for down here, it looks good. Let's head up. So now this item that we're looping over, we're gonna have to change this to item main image. Okay, and we can drop these buttons because we don't need them. We finished them already. Add to cart, no images here.
A few moments later.
Okay, so for now I'm gonna put main image. Get rid of that, and I'm gonna do it for here too, just so we can see what we have going on. That's good for now. Let's check it out and make sure we have our images here. Okay, so this needs to be product main image. Okay, well, we're kind of back where we started, so let's go ahead and start working on this carousel. Okay, so now we can get rid of all of these, and this div is just going to be margin top 6. And open that up. We head over to the Vue3 Carousel. You see that it's using some components and it's passing in some properties to those components, and then you can v4 over it. Then we have the navigation components, pagination components. It's all just components. So let's go ahead and start fleshing that out. So here I want first a carousel. Open it up. And then I want some settings. And these settings are going to equal settings. We'll fix those properties later. And then we're also going to need breakpoints, which is also going to be property that we define later. Okay, so now in here we can do slide. And then we're going to loop over the slide. We'll say image index in slides, which we'll also define in a bit. The key of index. And then we're going to add some classes to it. And then we're going to have a function. And this function, I'm just going to call it change current image. And we'll get working on that in a little bit, but I want to add the properties before we do that. So prevent equals change current image. And then in here, I want to add a div with the class of carousel item and our image. Add our colon here before I forget. Plus image. Oh, we don't really need an alt for that, but we do need some classes. Then under the slide, we need a template. And here we're going to do a hashtag add-ons, because that's going to slot in some add-ons for us. So this will just be our navigation components. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and define these properties up here. So the first thing that I want to do is define those slides because those are our individual images. Alt images, the product alt images that we just created. From down here, let's go ahead and open up some examples. And I want to grab some information from in here, which is this settings breakpoints. And all this is doing is it's just customizing where the breakpoints are for these. So how big they are, how many we're showing. This one in particular is it's showing 1 if it's large. If it's centered, it'll show up to 3.5, and on larger sizes, it'll show 5. So let's go ahead and add that here. Okay, and we don't need to change anything. We already have those in here. And let's just see if we're seeing anything yet. Okay, so we have our border, we have our little hover here, and we just need to add some classes to this, and that'll fix those. First, let's deal with the carousel classes. So I'm just going to add them. There's only a couple, so I'm going to add them to our app.css. And I'm going to put them under the card elements that we have here. All these are saying that it's going to display none if it's at the very beginning, or if it's at the very end, it's not going to display that arrow. And then we're just giving our carousel slide a little margin left and right of 4 pixels. So we've added some spacing, great. And as you can see, that arrow is no longer there, but if we go to the right, it is. And if we go all the way to the end, then we just see the last one here. So at this point, I want to set us up so that when we click on an item, that item is up here, because as you can see, if you click it, nothing happens. We don't have anything going on. And we're going to change the borders on this and some styling on it just so that we know exactly which image that we're taking a look at. For example, just imagine that this is another sort of version of whatever images that you want to have along with it. These are just sample images. So we can go ahead and close this. And I can close welcome and shop. Can move this over a little bit. And then above all of these, I'm going to add in some other properties. The first one is going to be a current image. Now this image is going to be the one that's first displayed when we open up the page, and anytime we make changes to the alternates, once we click onto that alternate, it'll display up where the current image is. So that's all that property is doing. It's just setting it for us. So initially, we're just going to set it as the product main image. We also need a property for isActive. We're going to set that to 0. And we're going to have a selected property, which initially we're going to set it to false. And let's head up and start working on the rest of this. So the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to just comment this out for now, just so I can keep it as a reference. But I'm going to create a div with the ID of image container, and we're going to give it some classes, which will be pretty much the same as what we have. I'm also adding a zoom function into this image, which it's going to be very simple, just really basic JavaScript stuff. And we need an image. The ID is going to be current image. For the source, I'll go ahead and add that now as well. It'll just be storage, current image. And then for the alt, we can actually just use the product name since it's going to be the same product. And then I just want some classes on here. Now this origin center, the IDs are basically going to be how we deal with our zooms. So that's good. We have our settings, our breakpoints. And for this class, I want to bind some classes to this. Basically, how we're going to set this up is if we click an image, that image is going to have a different border on it, and it's going to be based on what the index is of all of the slides that we're passing through. So this border, I'm going to use that selected property that we created, and we're going to say index equals is active. And remember, we set is active to 0, so that's where it's going to start. And if that's the case, then we also want the border to be red 600, not index equals is active. Okay, and the @click prevent, we're going to go ahead and pass in the image, and we're also going to pass in the index so we can loop through it. For the image itself, let's go ahead and also add a class. We're going to say opacity is, we'll do opacity 50. If the index does not equal is active. So basically, if it's inactive, it'll have an opacity of 50 on it. Let's go ahead and work on this change current image function. Okay, we'll come down under the submit method right here. We'll add change current image. Then we want to pass in the image and the index. And then we're going to say if, we'll do if else. So if there is an image that we're passing into this function, then we're going to say this current image equals that image that we're passing through. And then we're also going to make this is active equal the index that we're passing in, and this selected equals false. So if there is no image, then this current image will equal this product main image. And then we also need another if else, just a small one. So I'll say this is active. If this is active equals the index, then this selected equals false, else this selected equals true. Let's try this and see if it works yet. Go ahead, refresh. First of all, we have our outline. If we go ahead and click the next one, you see that we have the image up here. We have it up here. Let me double check this class to make sure that this first one is highlighted since it is the first one. Okay, and I'm going to start first by stopping the server just to make sure that everything is updating correctly. Okay, so that was it. So as you can see, we're not hovered over anything, but our first one that we have is the image that's up here. And as you can see, it's highlighted red. All the rest of the other ones have an opacity with a black surrounding. If we hover, you see the blue border. If we go ahead and click one, that brings a new image. We have our red border, and all the rest of them remain black and with opacity. Fantastic. Also, you see this little zoom hover that we have. And let's go ahead and get that working now. Now this I actually found from someone named Cryptic Coder. I'll show you his image, I'll give you the correct name, and I'll leave the link in my description and as a pinned comment as well, so that you can go and check it out. The method that he did was just basically JavaScript, and you can make it more Vue-like if you want. For me, I'm going to leave it like this because I think that it works just fine. The first thing that I want to do is I want to create a mounted lifecycle hook. And as soon as the page loads, I want to run this zoom image. We're going to create some variables. One for the container, and that's this image container right here. And for our image, I also named it current image. I gave them IDs. So down here now I can just do image, and this one will be current image. So now we're going to take the container, we're going to add an event listener, and this one's going to be called mouse move. Then we're going to take the event, and we're going to create some more variables. So we're going to say let x equals e.client x minus e.target.offset left. And then we're going to create another one, and this one is going to be offset top, and this will be client y, and then this will be y. So for now, I'm just going to console log those out just so you can see the properties. Refresh and open up their inspect tools. Console. So as you hover, you see the X and the Y values. So we're going to use that to calculate how big and where we want this image to zoom. So now we can use the image variable that we have. We can do the style, transform origin, and that's going to equal some backticks, $, curly brackets. We'll use the X value, and then we'll also set it for the Y value. So now the next one will just be image transform, and then we can add our scale. I'm going to set it to 3 so that it can be a decent size. Out of here, we'll do the container, add event listener, mouse sleeve, and we'll do the image style. Transform origin, we'll just go back to center, and that's why we set it up top here. This origin center is this transform origin center, so we set it to that center as soon as the page loads, but now we're going to set it back once the cursor leaves that section. And then image transform. Then we're just going to scale it back down to 1. Let's give this a try. Okay, so now as you can see, as you hover over the image, it has been zoomed. And then if you click out of it, move away from it, it just goes back to the normal side, the normal size. And if we go to another image, we can do the same thing for that. Again, another image, we'll do the same thing for that. Fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make all the changes on the back end to any other pages where we have to adjust for alt images versus main images. I'll go to all the other pages and then I'll fix them in, and I'll just go ahead and make sure that's included with the code. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button, as it really does help out the channel. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like, and here's a playlist to follow along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.